I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Entire hour. Are you pouring coffee? Daniel, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
told me that you're 2 minutes away. When are you going to be
In
here?
like five minutes.
5 minutes?
Daniel?
Oh! Ladies, we're ready.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Congratulations. When are you due?
Good Day with Daniel Bennett.
Good day. Welcome to another episode of Good Day. My name is Daniel Bennett. I'm your host for this show. And this is kind of a lighthearted talk show, variety show type thing. But really the emphasis is that today is a good day, right? You can choose to have a good day. We know that the world can be going crazy around us, but today can be a great day if we want it to be. Every day has the same potential to be amazing. So I'll share different kinds of things in this opening here, and sometimes I want to share some practical tips for things. And so what I want to talk about today is how to give good compliments. And this took a lot of research because I'd never heard a compliment most of my life. And no, I want to talk a little bit about compliments because the honest story is that I've heard so many bad compliments that I was like, people need to know how to give good compliments. So hopefully this helps out. I have a whole teaching on this, but I'm just going to do a really quick version of it. So 3 tips to give better compliments. Number 1 is compliment things people have control over. Right? It's totally fine if you want to tell someone, you know, you're so tall, your eyes look amazing, stuff like that. But really that's their genetics. You have no control over that, right? It's kind of like saying, you know, oh, you're so from whatever country, right? Well, I don't have control over that. And so those can still be fine, but it's even more meaningful when you compliment who they are as a person, right? So it's one thing to say, well, you're this tall or you look like this, something like that. That's fine. There's a place for that. But, you know, it's more meaningful if you say something like, I really like your sense of fashion, if they dress well, because that's something that they use their own creativity, their own ideas to come up with. Or if you say, you know, you're so funny, you know, I like the way you think, you're so creative, things like that. Because then you're complimenting choices that they made. You're complimenting things about them and who they are. And those are usually better compliments. You remember it a bit more when someone's complimenting something about you, not just about your genetics, not just about your situation, things like that. And so, you know, if you compliment somebody's hard work, right, that means more than if you say, wow, you're so rich, right? You were born rich, good for you, right? That's not the best compliment. But if you're like, man, you have amazing work ethic, you have such a spirit of excellence, things like that, that's something they had control over. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is don't drown it in disclaimers. When you give somebody a compliment, I don't know if you've ever had a compliment where by the time they're done complimenting you, they've insulted you for 5 minutes, right? Where they might say something like, oh yeah, you know, you're really handsome, you're really pretty, something like that. And they say, well, I don't mean like compared to good looking people. I don't mean you're like a 7 out of 10 compared to local people, not, you know. And so people tell me stuff like this, right? They say, you're a good teacher. I mean, not compared to good teachers, but I mean, compared to yesterday. So, and you're like, you could have left off that last part. You know, how about just say the nice part? So again, don't turn it into an insult by giving all these disclaimers. Once I had somebody say, Daniel, you're like a spiritual father to me. I mean, not that you know more than me, and it's not that I respect you or anything, but other than that, you're like a spiritual father to me. And I was like, thanks. You're a disappointing spiritual son. So that's tip number 2 is don't drown in disclaimers. It's okay if they feel complimented. That's the whole point. Number 3, my last tip right now, is what would it bless them to hear? Sometimes we get very focused on ourselves and we say, I'm going to compliment you based on what I care about, not based on what you care about. Right? Imagine that you're a bodybuilder and people only compliment your shoes or your hair. And you're like, seriously? No one's noticed that my muscles look amazing today? This is a masterpiece that I've been working on really hard, right? If you care about something, right? If you're a bodybuilder, you probably want people to notice and appreciate, like, wow, you put a lot of work into that. You're looking like, you look bigger today. You look whatever. I'm not a bodybuilder. believe it or not. That's, you know, this coat, this jacket is not hiding rippling muscles. But can we cut any of this out? No? Okay. So what would it bless them to hear? And so again, now to balance that out, right? So it's kind of what do they care about? Compliment them about things they care about. So things they pour a lot of their effort and their energy and their passion into, compliment them on that. But the balance to that is that if you're an expert in something, then sometimes it does make sense to compliment people on your area of expertise. So for example, if you're a hairdresser and you compliment someone's hair, that might mean more to them, like, wow, you're an expert and you thought I had good hair today? Thank you so much. You know, if you're a bodybuilder and you say somebody else looks like they're in really good shape and you see the progress that they're making, that might mean a lot to them. And so if someone's an expert, then it's good to compliment from your area of expertise, right? If you're a brilliant CEO or consultant or something like that, and you compliment somebody's ingenuity or somebody's problem-solving skills at work, things like that, that might mean a lot more to them than if you weren't an expert. So anyway, compliment things they care about. So yeah, number one was compliment things they have control over. Number two was don't drown it in disclaimers. Just put the compliment out there. Don't worry if they misunderstand. And it's like, well, I didn't mean to compliment you that much. Don't worry about that. Just let them misunderstand and feel complimented. And number three is what would they like to hear, not just what would you like to say. So that's my practical tips for today. And now we'll move on to our special guest.
You know, life is tougher than an overcooked $2 steak. But keeping a good attitude, well, that just keeps it all in perspective. How to stay positive in a negative world. Log on to gooddayGTN.com to get your free copy today.
All right, welcome back. We've got, as a special guest today, we have Isak Muren. And you were in the other show that got canceled.
Yeah.
Not because of you. So
Are you sure about that?
It was the other guest
Okay.
that we had.
Okay.
Could you share a little bit about, so I don't even know your title anymore. Could you share a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, I'm GTN Creative Media Productions Director. So I'm over the department that handles the feature films and the short films, along with the musical productions and the post-production of all those things. So that's what I'm doing. I oversee that world.
I know you do a lot, yeah, because right now we were just talking about how you're finishing up a movie, but you're also doing behind the scenes. You're doing productions. I assume you were involved with the Summer Family Bible Conference thing for kids. We had this whole, built a whole little village indoors.
Yeah.
So that's very cool.
Yeah.
And well, I think we have a challenge first.
Here's your stack of cards.
Thank you.
Okay.
Are yours.
And so, so I think, have you played this before? This is a
I
more
have.
popular name.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so people play this on their cell phones a lot. Yeah, so I think, I'll summarize this one real quick. So we just hold, I think one person goes first, we hold up the word, and then the other person has to describe it and get you to guess the word.
Okay.
And then we see is there a timer to see how many words we get, or do we just go till, okay. Do you want to go for? Oh, I can't look at the
Wait a
words.
minute. I just
So
looked
I
at
hold
these.
mine up. So you have to tell.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not supposed to. Let's swap.
Let's swap. Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. I was like, I just looked at mine. So.
Okay. So, do you want me to go first? I'll hold them up.
Yeah, you
and
can go
guess?
first.
Okay. So
Okay.
you're trying to get me to guess the right word.
Is there a timer?
No.
Okay.
So, but yeah, let's say like 2 failed tries. We'll play it by ear.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. So 1, 2, 3.
Andrew wants this in the lobby of
A
himself.
fountain. A statue.
No.
Andrew wants this of himself.
It's like a digital
a
projection.
screen. A hologram.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
This is basically AIs are based off of this.
Algorithm.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like a. Is this the good one or the bad one? It's kind of like a. It's a type. It's a word that describes a type of future or city. Like you have the bad
Metropolis.
kind.
Utopia. Dystopia.
Opposite. Dystopia. Yep.
Okay. Wow. Where'd these words come from?
Okay. This word refers to a specific type of biome or environment where you have a specific type of species
Greenhouse,
living.
biosphere.
You have a very specific amount of or types of species living in this area.
I don't know, like an aquarium type thing. I don't know.
No, we can skip
I
this
won't
one.
get it. Yeah.
Ecosystem.
Oh, okay.
This is how sound is measured.
Decibels.
Yeah.
What's these words?
What's above the concourse out here?
Mezzanine.
Yep.
Okay. I always forget which one's first
Right,
floor,
yeah,
which
I
one's
know,
second.
it's
Okay.
confusing.
Yeah. So I think Concord.
That was
okay.
quite good.
That wasn't bad,
That was
right?
really good.
So we got what?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 5 points.
Okay.
Your
cool.
turn. Your turn.
Okay.
Not bad. I guess I complained, but we were getting them. Okay. On an airplane when it's bouncing.
Turbulence.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, so they have automated ones and in-person ones. It's where you buy things. So the automated ones are like a little computer you go to and you can get information or you can purchase something. Like if you go to IKEA and you want to go to a terminal type thing, a machine.
I'm so confused. Is this
man.
a store?
Do you speak Spanish?
Yeah.
Store in Spanish? Kind of?
Tienda?
No, the other, oh, sorry.
Is not
I guess,
tienda?
no, so it's like a little computer terminal or it's a little station with a person where you can like transact.
What is it?
I don't think we'll get it.
Well, let's give it.
Yeah.
What was it?
Well, kiosk.
Oh, okay.
don't-
You
yeah.
should have said the Norwegian word.
Yeah. Okay, so this is what plants do to generate energy. Right?
Photosynthesis?
Yeah.
Cool.
Is that correct? I haven't taken biology in a while.
I mean, that works. I got it.
Oh, when something happens unexpectedly but fortuitous, something positive that happens.
Surprise or...
No, it's a big word. It's kind of like, the first part of it's kind of like calm.
Okay.
Like a calm something, but I think it's when something, an unexpected coincidence, that's a good one. There's a movie that my wife likes. Am I describing it right? Okay.
Maybe I'm just bad
it's a
at
longer-
guessing.
So you might not know this word. Well, you probably do. We
Okay.
can skip it. Serendipity.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I've heard it. I don't use it regularly.
Yeah.
No.
If it weren't for that movie.
Yeah, fair.
Something see-through.
Transparent.
The different version
Translucent.
of that. Yeah. Cool. Oh, this is something in the atmosphere that used to have a hole in it, and now people know.
Ozone layer?
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't know whatever happened to that.
I think they fixed it.
Growing up, that was like global warming, right?
Yeah,
Everyone's,
that's the biggest
ozone layer.
issue.
Yeah.
Cool. So,
then we got
4. on
9
that one?
points. Yeah. So
That's
9
not that
points.
bad.
Is that a record?
Yeah. That was too easy. Too easy.
So now we've got some videos to react to, and if we have time after that, there's some things I want to ask you about.
Okay.
So can we play the first video? I think this will be a quick one.
So we all know by now that videos of trick shots are fake and they're edited. But what about live streams? How are they editing in real time? The secret is really easy. First, you have to make sure your camera is on a tripod. Then you use an NG filter. This covers the whole lens with green, making any green object invisible. A homemade one works just as good, even on your phone, and you can make it look like you do the impossible.
Okay, I don't even know what to believe anymore. So I think I've seen some things where someone's in one of those suits and they fake it.
Yeah.
There's like a dancer that does these crazy moves and she shows you before and after.
Yeah.
But some of it, I think they're actually just doing lots of takes.
No, that's for sure what they're doing there, and I can't believe how many people probably tried that and saw how it failed, because that's not how it works at all. It takes a lot more work than that. I've dealt with a lot of green screen in my past, so
Yeah.
it's not like that at all.
Years ago, I tried to do green screen with some friends.
Yeah.
And I think it hadn't been set up properly. So there's wrinkles in it and the whole thing. And so it just wasn't working because it's green, but there's shadows and the whole thing. And so we're like, this isn't as easy as it looks. Then you go see a nice green screen setup. Like right now, actually, this whole thing is in a green screen. This is all fake. Just kidding.
We actually have a guy in a green screen suit standing right here.
Sarah wears one of those green outfits. Yeah. But how much, so you say you've worked with this kind of stuff though, so like, when does it save time and when is it a waste of time? Like when's it better just to do like a real stunt or real special effect?
Well, it's having, most of the time actually, I don't key with green screen. And like when people wear those suits, they most certainly don't, because sometimes—
Sorry, when you say key?
Keying means just basically selecting that individual color to remove it.
Okay.
So that's what you do in post-production. You have that's why you want it evenly lit without wrinkles, because you have a green screen that's one solid color, you select it, and then it's removed.
Right.
But with those green suits, the colors are so inconsistent and uneven that most of the time they just have them wear a different color in order to separate them from the background, and then they just cut them out manually.
Right.
So they spend hours basically tracing the outline of the individual and then cutting them out, and then next frame do the same thing. So
yeah, I know now with AI you can probably automate some of that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's pretty wild.
It's helped a lot.
Yeah. So do we have one more video? One more. Okay, last video.
Wow. That's pretty cool. We haven't done stunts to that extent.
You guys lit someone on fire, right?
Yeah, we lit two guys on fire.
Yeah, so that's intense.
It wasn't intense enough though. We'll do it again soon.
See, I grew up watching Jackie Chan movies.
Yeah.
And he does like all his, I think maybe in some American movies, he doesn't do all his own stunts, but for the most part, he does all his own stunts. And there's like diagrams of like every bone he's broken in his body. Like he's the real deal.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And actually, I think that stunt is from a not a Jackie Chan, John Wick movie.
Okay.
So that's probably a Keanu Reeves stunt double. But I feel I've seen stunts that Jackie Chan has done similar to that without pads even.
Yeah, I respect it both ways because I've heard Keanu Reeves say, he's like, oh no, that's a profession. I'm not gonna like I respect their profession. I let them do that. They're experts. Right. Then you have people like Jackie Chan and Tom Cruise. Right. Where it's like, no, I want to do my own because I think it'll be more fun for the audience. Because I remember I watched Mission Impossible 6, and I went through the whole movie thinking that they used special effects for everything, and I still loved it. But then I found out he did it all for real. Right. And so then I was like, I got to go back and watch this thing again. And so now I've watched, and then when you find out he actually learned how to fly helicopters for real.
It's crazy.
All these crazy things. He
so
actually
crazy.
pulled, anyway.
And it becomes such a big marketing point. Like, like Mission Impossible movies, Tom Cruise did this one stunt, all real, all on his own. And it's like, that's a big reason why people watch those movies and the Top Gun movies. So, And then I've actually done quite a fair share of my own stunts.
I was going to say, like, wait, were you transitioning into, do you have a clip of you jumping off a building?
I don't think we have a clip. We can probably insert it. But I was in a stoning, and that was quite good. But we had the necessary protective stunt gear, but I still had to get pummeled with rocks. They were fake, but it still hurts to get it in the nose.
See, my kids were joking. They were guessing that it was rolled up socks.
Oh, really?
That they're throwing at you, and I was like, I don't know what it was. Because have I shown you? Anyway, we don't have time to show it now, but my kids started acting out that scene where I try and play catch, and they just let the ball hit them, and they fall over, acting out your scene.
What a good example I am. We also, I think during that filming, the individuals who were stoning me first dragged me. So later on in the day, we filmed about 4 hours worth of dragging. So they were holding my heels and dragging me, and that was fun. I think stunts, they look horrible, but they're fun. like the guy we saw in the video there, I'm sure that's so much fun. It hurts. It's like you can try to have protective measures to make sure it hurts less, but it's never not going to hurt.
Yeah, no, growing up, like from like 12 years on until like probably my 20s or something, or at least my teen years, I wanted to be a stunt double when I grew up.
Yeah.
That was my dream. I was like, I want to be a stunt double. I'd read books about it, study about it. And then you get a little older and you're like, I don't bounce back like I used to. Like, I'll let the young guys do that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, that's fair.
Yeah. Are you guys going to work in more? You say you're going to do another lighting. And by the way, what we're talking about is To Die Is Gain, right?
Yeah.
So that's on YouTube if somebody wants to check that out. Yeah, 𝗤𝗃𝗃 probably doesn't need many stunts.
No, it doesn't. But like the Bible has a lot of stunt elements within it, especially if we're going to do things regarding acts and stuff like that. Like there's tradition, and we'd probably depict this at one point, that James, the brother of Jesus, the bishop of Jerusalem, was martyred by being thrown off the pinnacle of the temple, possibly the same pinnacle of the temple that Jesus was tempted to jump off of.
Yeah.
So that's an example of one of the stunts. So we need to throw a stuntman off of a 400-foot tall pinnacle. So that's gonna be fun.
It does sound kind of fun to fall off if you have those giant airbags. Whatever it is. It could be fun.
No, I think so too.
Yeah, I imagine you'd want to be like, I got to try this out first.
Yeah, maybe I should just do the stunts for everyone else. I think that sounds very fun.
Yeah, and I was just watching an old movie, The Princess Bride, with my kids.
Yeah.
I was showing them the beginning part, the sword fighting, because they like sword fighting.
Yeah.
But the part where they roll down the hill.
Yeah.
And it's very, they didn't do a bad job, but you can tell it's somebody else.
Yeah.
Right. So they're rolling down, and you're like, it's a trick angle, kind of like to try and not ruin it. That one wasn't bad. I've seen worse ones.
No, but there are some movies where you can very clearly tell it's not that.
That's a guy in a wig.
Yeah, exactly. Holy gosh.
All right, so we got a few minutes left. You're doing a show called The Insider.
Yes.
So I want to talk about this a little bit. So
for sure.
I'm very excited about it because I love immersion, right? So yours is it's a Bible study, but you have the whole set decorated like you're actually there where the person wrote it. Could you talk a little bit about this?
Yeah, so it's a Bible study TV show, but it's different from others in that I'm being depicted as writing in a location mimicking what the location where the author actually wrote the epistle possibly looked like. So the first one I did was Colossians, and we depicted the background as a Roman domus, or a Roman house. You saw various Roman elements within that in the background. And then we also cut to clips of Paul, or clips depicting Paul actually writing it. So you see Paul and all the characters he mentions as well. So you have Paul with Timothy dictating it to a scribe who's writing it down on wax tablets, who will transcribe it onto scrolls, with a Roman Praetorian guard, and Tychicus, Epaphras, Aristarchus, all the various individuals who would have been present at the writing of the various epistles. So you really get to see what it could have been like. And then I'm planning also on, because we don't know exactly where each of the epistles were written, so we might depict Paul writing Colossians from Rome and Caesarea, and possibly an Ephesian imprisonment, to kind of depict all the possibilities. And but it really just gives you insight into how it could have looked like when writing, and it really gives a further depth into the epistles themselves when you can see the characters interacting, and you can get a little bit more historical visual insight into the writing of the epistles.
Yeah, like I was saying, I love the immersion part of it, because I recently, I talk about this all the time because it's my new cool thing I'm excited about, but like I got a virtual reality headset and I put it on, and what hit me was, this is so immersive. I feel like I'm there. And one of my thoughts was, we need to do a Bible in VR where you feel like you're actually following Jesus, you're sitting there watching him teach. But I feel like it's exciting because the more immersed you are, I feel like you listen in a different way.
Right.
So you may have listened to the same chapter of the Bible over and over, but when you see it, like I even have an audio Bible where they act it out.
Yeah, for sure.
And the sound effects and different voices of different people, and you hear it a bit differently. And so it's like you're leaning into that, right? So the immersion part of it. So how do you feel it's going to impact the Bible study, the fact that you're not wearing a costume, but everything around you, it looks like it's in the right period?
Yeah, correct. Well, I'm trying to, I think it's important to try to bring the word to life, because people have different extents of imagination, and some people might not be able to see things as clearly as others. And it's not like we're claiming this is exactly how it was, but at least presenting a probable scenario, I think is helpful, because you can help inspire thoughts and ideas within the watchers that they might not have had otherwise if they were just reading it. Because some people might find reading boring, or at least this could be a stepping stone into just regularly reading the Bible. It can help them see things that they would not have seen before. So I think that's important.
And I think sometimes we always think that anything fun or cool or that involves the five senses is for kids.
Right.
And even what we did here, were like the banquet hall for the children for summer family was turned into a village, and kids got to this fun stuff. But I walk in and I'm like, why don't we do this for grown-ups?
Right. I'm sure the adults would love that.
They have imaginations. We're the ones who need a little help. You know?
Yeah, exactly. No, and I think that's so cool. And one criticism, and I guess it's fair to some extent, is that, and this is just something to be wary of, but if you're depicting anything biblical or like even recreating a gospel scene, you're needing to make a lot of interpretation.
Yeah.
Like even with an audio Bible alone, the actors are needing to decide when to do certain inflections and stuff like that, which interprets your reading of the Bible, which is, it's fine to an extent, but I think it's important for people to understand that a representation of the Word of God isn't necessarily the Word of God itself. It still is important and can provide such an impact, but the Word of God itself is what remains true.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I think there's value in reading different versions and listening to different versions, because it kind of, like the first time I ever heard an audio Bible, because most of my life, it's just reading.
Yeah.
First time I heard it, certain things came to life and it hit me in a whole new way.
That you haven't noticed before.
Yeah.
Right.
But then I heard a different version of a different audio Bible that was acted out, and I was like, now that hits me different.
Yeah.
And then I read a different version. And so, I agree. People need to, like say, be aware. This shouldn't replace, because now it is adding someone's
because it narrows it
interpretation.
down almost. In some ways, it opens new ideas up, and you see new things. But in some ways, it just limits what it could be.
Right.
Because you only see what's dictated for you to see.
Yeah.
So it has benefits and downsides.
As much as we try to interpret it accurately.
Yeah.
It could be totally different.
Yeah, correct.
I mean, I hear people have entire sermons. I think that this meant this, and for all we know, it didn't.
Yeah.
But maybe they still got a good principle from it.
Right.
And so that's why, if you go too far, because then if you build on it, your own interpretation, then build another interpretation based on that and based on that, then you might end up in really weird areas.
Yeah, exactly. But I think as long as people understand that the Word of God is the source, then they can have these supplementary resources that help give insight into what they're reading and studying.
If you use it the right way, I think you get a lot more out of it.
Yeah.
Because I even tell people, when you study the Old Testament, if something's ever kind of confusing, go to a commentary or go to a simplified Bible or paraphrased Bible.
Right.
Sometimes that can help you understand what's going on, and then use that knowledge now to go read the real deal.
Yeah, for sure.
But honestly, I love, like when you see one of these productions about 𝗙𝗵𝗲 and 𝗁𝗲𝗄 and all them, or about King David or something like that,
right,
it kind of inspires different ways of thinking. So then when you go back and read the word directly, you get more out of it. You see different things that you didn't see.
I think allowing various individuals' commentaries and depictions influence the way you read a text is important, because it's good to consult other people's brains as well. It's not just your own.
Anyway, we're out of time, but hopefully we can have you back sometime.
For sure, I'd love it.
We'll keep talking more, but hope you guys have enjoyed today's episode. Don't forget, today is a great day. I'll see you next time.